Hey booktubers, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm talking about the Fall into Fantasy readathon, and also just a general update on what's been happening in my bookish life. So before I get into the Fall into Fantasy, I want to update on the book festival. So the book festival was actually a couple of weeks ago here. I got 3 signed books. There was a lot of authors that I saw that I was really wanting to buy their books, but each book was like $15, and it started to become a question of, do I really need this book? Or, I mean, listening to them talk is really enough for me. You know, I don't typically buy physical books. I like library books more, but for the sake of today and showing you the books I did get at the book festival, here's the most exciting one. Favorite author of all time. Okay, she just said for Alexis and signed her name. Thank you, Victoria Schwab. You make my life. And I'm not going to really talk about what these specific books are about because they might be in the Fall into Fantasy readathon books that I'm going to read. So even if I don't end up talking about them, like, there's a lot of stuff on them elsewhere. And second book I got, The Lavender Soul. I almost did Lavender Eyes because her eyes are lavender. But it's The Lavender Soul by L.K. Walsh. I actually met her. I have a photo that I got with her. She was telling me about it, that there's fairies in it, and, you know, I love faith. So I need something to hold me over until 2019, you know, waiting for my next chapter of recent. Oh, okay. And last book I got signed. Guys, this author blew my freaking mind. We were sitting there at the conference, or at the book festival, and Children of Blood and Bone by Tony Adeyemi. I don't know. And okay, so she's like really cool. She's a Nigerian-American writer and creative writing coach based in San Diego, California. Whoop, whoop. Been there. After graduating from Harvard University with an honors degree in English literature, she studied West African mythology, religion, and culture in Salvador, Brazil. When she's not working on her novels or watching BTS music videos, she can be found blogging about creative writing at her website, which is listed there, but I'll also put it down below. And yeah, I just thought, like, some of the audience goes, how do you have so many characters who are strong women? Like, where do you get your inspiration for strong women characters? And her answer was, that's like asking chai means tea. So to her, it's like tea. So anyway, she's saying like how chai tea is redundant for saying tea. Strong woman is redundant for saying woman, because she doesn't know any women who aren't strong. And I was just like sitting there like, whoa, what an answer. Like, what an answer. Riveted. Want to read the book. Alright, sorry about that. Might be in a different spot because my camera just died, or didn't die, it ran out of space. Those were the 3 main books I got at the book festival. However, I did go to Half Price Books, and I got this book by, I'm waiting to hold it up. This author who held the same panel as Victoria Schwab was, I forgot what the title of their panel was. I can probably look it up. But this guy was also there talking about his writing. He writes books that have a lot to do with, like, they're more sci-fi, I think, than fantasy, dealing with aliens and typical, like, sci-fi, like, Invaders of Earth type stories. John Scalzi, it's Old Man's War. I got it in, like, the dad cover, because that's what Half Price Books had. And I'm going to go into more of what this is about, too, when I get into the Fall into Fantasy, because most of these books are like options I have available for me for the Fall into Fantasy. The next 2 books I'm going to show are also from Half Price Books. I don't think I'm going to read them for Fall into Fantasy, but yeah, of course you see the Half Price Books sticker on them because I haven't taken it off yet. The first one is The Drastic Dragon of Draco, Texas. I saw this the last time I was at Half Price Books, and I was like not sure if I wanted to get it, but then I looked it up online on Kindle, and it was like $5. At half price, it was only $1.49, so of course your girl's gonna go with Half Price Books. A dragon is terrorizing Texas, charring the landscape, tainting the water supply, gobbling up cattle, and generally making a nuisance of itself. Not some overgrown desert reptile, mind you, but a real, live, fire-breathing dragon. And nobody from the rough and ready border town of Draco has the slightest idea of how to stop it until a courageous young woman, seeking fame and adventure in the Wild West, discovers its astonishing secret. It just looks really cute, and like, I love strong female characters, and it takes place in Texas, where I'm living. Had to have it. last book from Half Price Books, The Mountain Made of Light. But what did it for me is that it's told from the perspective of like archaeological field journals. So like the first is like June 12th, 1921. And basically the back of it says, Jesse O'Keefe had to come to the Peruvian Andes seeking both a haven from his memories and the chance to make his name as an anthropologist. But amid an unexplored mountain vastness, he found more than he'd ever bargained for, an entire civilization locked in the past, descended from the Incas who had fled to this isolated region when European invaders claimed the lowlands of centuries past. But even as Jesse made contact with the race known as the Mountain Drawn, another foreigner found his way into the enchanted land. Soon both men were entangled in a prophecy which foretold their coming, and they had no choice but to embark on a quest for the legendary mountain made of light, a quest which might prove the salvation of this land or lead its people prey to the world they fled so long ago. So that's just, I don't know, the title sounded really interesting. The first little bit that I was reading was really good. So yeah, those are the three I got. Once I read this book and like I'll get back to you on it and whether or not you should check it out too, because I haven't really seen anybody read this book. This last book I actually found at the thrift store for $1.99, and this is the last book I'm going to talk about before I shift gears into the fall into fantasy. It's this book, The Bear and the Nightingale, by Catherine Arden. So this is another book I'm going to use for my fall into fantasy. So y'all know I'm new to BookTube, and every year, several times a year, from what I've noticed from watching BookTube for as long as I have, in general BookTube-a-thons that are meant to inspire and reignite your love for reading and just sharing it out there like, this book is really good, I just read it for my fall into fantasy readathon, you should read it too, it's really good. The challenge is from November 18th to the 25th, so that started yesterday, but you know, I'm in college, and I don't really get on break until Wednesday. Wednesday's my first official day of break. So the challenges this year are to read at least 4 books if possible. I'm just going to list the challenges real quick. First challenge is number 1, a new fantasy series. Number 2, been on your TBR too long. Number 3, LGBTQ fantasy. A diverse fantasy, multiple points of view. Number 6, a new fantasy. Number 7, a sequel. And number 8, BookTube recommended. For number 1, for a new series, I'm going to read Temper. I actually have the book downstairs. It's rented from the library. I'm reading Temper by Nikki Drayden. I think I saw it because I think the author just came to Book People. It's a local store that authors sometimes, they have monthly events where like probably about 10 authors a month come to it. It's about 2 brothers, 7 vices, 1 demonic possession. Can this relationship survive? From looking at it, it looks like they're going to be in a place where it's cold. Considering it's November, here in Texas I'm freezing. It feels like it might as well be 20 degrees when it's probably like 60, but like I'm frozen, okay? It's like I'm ready to like snuggle up by the fireplace, get me some hot chocolate or eggnog, and like go to town on these books. This one, Aubin has more vices than he can deal with, 6 to be exact. Each branded down his arm for all the world to see. They mark him as a lesser twin in society, as inferior, but there's no way he'll let that define him. Aubin is intelligent and outgoing, and his spirited antics make him more popular among the other students at his underprivileged high school. So what if he's envious of his twin, Kissim, whose single vice brand is a ticket to a better life, one that likely won't involve Aubin. It reminds me how Cinder was about, the girl who was cyborg being marked as lesser in society, but having people around you who, like, were living and interacting with you who were more in society, and I'm ready to read how these 2 twins deal with this relationship. So this is what I'm going to do for my first challenge, a new series. Been on TBR for too long. There's so many I could choose from. I have already started Mistborn. The second book is Will of Ascension, and that's actually the one I'm in. And I want to say halfway through it. It's like an 800-page novel, so I think it's fair to use Will of Ascension as one of my Fall into Fantasy readathon books just because it's so long, even at the halfway mark, that it's possible I could finish it. it's also possible that I could avoid it because there's so much left in it. I'm either going to read Mistborn, like The Well of Ascension, or Vicious. Essentially, Mistborn is about all these characters coming together trying to rescue the world from this oppressive dictator, but the dictator keeps saying things like, you don't know what I'm holding at bay, like, you don't know what I'm doing for you, like, it may look like I'm hurting, but I'm actually doing all these good things, and it really just looks like he's doing all these awful things. And so they like remove him from the situation. I think it's Lord Ruler. The first one is kind of about them trying to figure out how to remove this Lord Ruler, if they can possibly do it, if it's a realistic thing to do. The magic system in this world revolves around like these metals that you like ingest in some way by like swallowing like bits and pieces of sample metals and using these vials of metals like to have strange abilities. And I could list what all the abilities are based on the metal. Like, for example, there's tin eyes, so like you burn tin once you burn the metal once it's in you, and if you burn tin you have the power to see better. And all this magic of all these different elements is called allomancy, and if you can use all the metals, you are Mistborn. And you're very rare and you're very powerful, because most allomancers can only use one or two, and they all have power, and they're all like really unique abilities. This, along with Children of Blood and Bone, give me Avatar vibes that I love. The second option for number 2, but on TBR too long, is Vicious. I just got Vengeful. Victoria Schwab is my favorite author of all time, and I haven't read Vicious yet, but I have a signed copy of Vengeful. I really just need to like roll back on Victoria Schwab. I need to read Vicious so I can read Vengeful, which Vengeful can be one of the sequel options. So LGBTQ fantasy, I don't know that I have anything that will fit in these categories, but if I read something that is in that category, I'll mention it. A diverse fantasy, I don't really know of any fantasies that aren't diverse. I think I just read diverse fantasy just in general. Like, I wish there was more like on what the parameters are for a diverse fantasy. Multiple points of view, I also don't know for this one. I'm kind of like, I don't know. New fantasy, that's gonna be Lavender Soul. Vera was born with lavender eyes, pretending she'll be the annihilation of evil or the impetus of world-consuming darkness. This prophecy thrust Vera and her warrior guardian, Yatim, into the world she has been hidden from her entire life. A world of astral projecting fairies, extraordinary beasts, a beguiling shapeshifter, and the Dark One searching for Vera, hunting for the Lavender Soul. I have a queen butterfly as my phone screensaver, and when I was like asked to take a picture with the author, she saw it and she was like, oh, you're gonna love this book. When she gets her wings, she has monarch wings. I'm ready for it. I'm ready. Don't really know what to expect on it, bought it on a whim, don't know anything about it. A sequel, I also, this is kind of like my time to catch up in the books I haven't really been caught up in, but my sequel is going to be the second Strange the Dreamer book. If you haven't read Strange the Dreamer, you really should. 10 out of 10, like, amazing book. I loved it. So Strange the Dreamer is about this guy Strange, Laszlo Strange. All, like, bastard babies are just called the Strange, and, he's Laszlo Strange, and he's a librarian who stumbles into, like, the mystical creatures he's always read about. He finds a way into their world, and it's really cool. Not going to go into more than that. The second one is the one I'm really going to read, and I'm really excited for, because I've had it since it came out. I literally got it on the release day, and I haven't read it yet. Last book is book 2, recommended. So, of course, I'm going with Children of Blood and Bone. Everyone has recommended this book. Ashley Outpage was probably the first person to really get me to be like, oh, I actually really want to read that book, because she had it on a video about books that reminded her of Avatar: The Last Airbender, required, so I bought it, and I'm lit listening to the author talk about it too. I didn't even know she was going to be there. I only went to the book festival expecting to see V. Schwab, but then I met Scalzi and then Tomi, and she was amazing. So this book is, the blurb says, Zeely remembers when the soil of Erosha hummed with magic, burners ignited flames, tinders beckoned waves, Zeely Reaper Mother summoned forth souls. But everything changed when magic disappeared. Under the orders of the ruthless king, the Magi were targeted and killed, leaving Zeely without a mother and her people without hope. Now, Zeely has one chance to bring back magic and strike against the monarchy. With the help of Rogue Princess, Zeely must outwit and outrun the Crown Prince, who is hell-bent on eradicating magic for good. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but can we talk about this Nigerian author? I don't know how, like, I got into this fantasy world where, like, a lot of these fantasy characters have diversity. Maybe that's my diversity. I don't know, I love that I have books written by authors who are minority in my life in general. So that's it, you guys. I'm gonna go because I'm running out of space on my camera and I have to go. I will be updating throughout the Fall into Fantasy Readathon. You'll probably see this video on Tuesday. I'm just gonna say bye for now. Thank you for watching and look forward to reading or watching what you post.